This is our Discover BNI meeting, the opportunity where folks perhaps having a look at BNI for the first time or starting up a new group can meet, connect and move their groups forward. We've got a pretty packed agenda today. I'm going to be running through this pretty quickly. There'll be an opportunity to ask questions at the end for sure. And we will be breaking out into team groups a little later on as we go through. So we'll get a chance to introduce ourselves to each other on those groups. Let me just get that going. Let's get started. Well, first of all, a quick run through today's agenda. I'm going to be giving us a BNI core value, talking a little bit at the beginning about what is BNI, Business Network International. I'll be talking a little bit about BNI online. We find ourselves meeting virtually at the moment. Hopefully not for too much longer, but we've had something go on, haven't we, which has caused us to move online. So a little bit about what's happened there. Then I'll be running through the process. How do we actually start new chapters? Then there'll be some team sessions. We'll break out into our groups and discuss moving our particular groups forward. I'll finish off at the end with how to get involved and, of course, some questions and answers. But before we do any of that, let me tell you that today you will have an opportunity to join BNI and lock out your competition. I'll be telling you what that means and how to do it. But first, who's on the call? Let's do some introductions. Well, my name is Bill Keane. I am the Executive Director of BNI here in Central Alabama and Southwest Georgia. We have 9 chapters locally. We're a fairly new region. Our neighbors have over 40 chapters in each of their areas. So we are growing and we're here to actually help you grow yourselves. There is my email address if you'd like to reach out to me. I'm joined on the call today by all sorts of fabulous people. Barbara, Sasha, Lou, Paula, Christina, and Trisha will all be helping me with breakout rooms. And actually some of these folks are launch directors and will be helping you get your chapters up and running. I hope they're all on the call. I guess we'll find out as we go. BNI has 7 core values, and I wanted to briefly talk about our first one, Givers Gain. BNI is a very counterintuitive organization. What I mean by that is that very oftentimes the route to success is not the one you think it is. Sometimes it's the complete opposite. Givers gain, that ability to give first and receive later, is one of those counterintuitive things. We think in business that it's all about dog eat dog, fight, scratch, beat the competition into the ground, build your business. It can be like that, but it doesn't have to be. One of the mechanisms in BNI that we choose to drive revenues to our business is by developing credibility through relationships, by giving first and getting back later. Folks who are approaching their BNI membership with that givers gain mentality almost exclusively are the ones who are doing well in BNI, because that collaborative approach is the one that works so very well with BNI. As I mentioned before, we will do our attendees introductions in our breakout rooms, but I want to thank all of you for taking the time to attend. We've got folks here from Auburn, Alabama, from Valdosta, Georgia, from Albany, Georgia, and actually we've got some folks from Dothan, Alabama as well. And some of our visitors are looking to find out how they can get a BNI chapter started in their area. So what exactly is BNI? Well, a bit of background. BNI started back in 1985, so now 36 years old, by that man, Dr. Ivan Meisner. He founded BNI because he needed to develop his business quickly, rapidly, He didn't have a lot of cash available, and networking was his preferred route to do that rather than lots of marketing and advertising. However, he found that he wasn't satisfied with the opportunities for networking at the time in California, where he had his business. Two issues he bumped into. Number one, a lot of folks weren't taking networking as seriously as he was. He needed to build his business and he needed to build it quickly. A lot of folks he bumped into seemed to be very casual, talking about, a vacation and chit-chatting. He needed to get on with it. He also found wherever he went, he bumped into the competition. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with the competition. We need competition to keep our sword sharp. Unfortunately, however, the competition has a rather bad habit of not having our best interests at heart. Some of them even try and steal our customers. I know, it's shocking. And he found that with the competition everywhere he turned, he wasn't able to really start developing relationships with key people. So he decided to go out and set up his own network. He called it The Network, and it was really just one group of people. He set this up to fix these two issues. So his networking group had a very structured agenda, a 20-point agenda designed for people to come in, do what they needed to do, and get out and go and do other things, because we've all got plenty of other things to do. That 20-point agenda that he set up back in the day is pretty much still with us today. The other thing he did with his chapter is make it category exclusive. Only one person represented a particular category in his group. There was only one CPA, there was only one real estate agent, there was only one mortgage broker, thus eliminating the competition from the room and enabling the members to really sit down and start to develop relationships and get strategic. Well, this worked pretty well. Before too long, somebody else wanted to join and they couldn't because their category had gone, so he helped them start a second chapter. Then a third one happened. And by the end of the year, he had 20 chapters around his local area. Fast forward 36 years, and we now find ourselves, actually my numbers are a bit out of date, we now have over 10,000 BNI chapters around the world. There are 250,000 members passing referrals to each other, and last year they passed over $16 billion in referrals to each other. That's an unimaginably large number. It's the GDP of some small countries. Those referrals that were passed are generating revenues to the members' bottom lines. The growth of the business is something I'm very proud of, and one of my missions is to help small businesses help each other, and BNI offers that opportunity exactly. So how does it work? Well, BNI is a referral networking organization. They meet in chapters, as we've already talked about. It's very much like having your own marketing team available to you. Our role as a member is to educate the other members, not just on what we do, which is fair enough, but more critically, what we want. Helping the other members understand what we're looking for gives them the tools to help pass us referrals. And we, of course, are educating ourselves on how we can help each other. That marketing team is not something a lot of small businesses can afford, but BNI offers that opportunity within the chapters. Combine that with the exclusive marketing rights. You have free reign within your chapter to develop those relationships free of concern about competitors in the room. You're the only one doing what you do in your group. This over time starts to develop a continuous source of new business. Slowly at first, as those relationships grow, and then faster over time as we get better at understanding how we can help each other. Of course, we have visitors coming, we have new members joining, the pool is constantly refreshing. There are many members from a chapter I used to attend regularly in Birmingham, Trustville BNI. They have many members who do not do anything else. They don't look anywhere else for their source of revenue other than their BNI chapter, because they've developed sufficient numbers of referral partners that passes them enough business to keep them going. What a great goal that would be. As I mentioned before, it's all about relationships. BNI is a collaborative organization. We start by getting to know somebody. We can do this in many different ways and in many different networking contexts. Knowing somebody is the first start to passing business with somebody. You need to know what they do, that you need to know what their geographical area is. But knowing somebody isn't enough to really get a strong referral relationship going. The next step is to get to like somebody. And this happens over time. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm not going to do business with somebody if I don't like them. I have to tell you. And they wouldn't do business with me. I would cross the state to find the competitor if I didn't like the person. It's really about who we are, not necessarily what we do. But liking itself isn't enough. We need to go the extra step to trust. Trust is where the magic happens. Trust is where we can start to really get strategic with somebody. Maybe open up our customer database. Here, I saw Mrs. Smith last week. I think Mrs. Smith would be a good referral for you. How can I get Mrs. Smith in front of you? Working together in a collaborative way takes time, but it doesn't have to take too much time, particularly if we focus our efforts and attentions on particular referral partner categories. There's more available than just our referral meetings, though. We have now what's called BNI Business Builder, our university, a repository of all the knowledge and information that we have gathered together over 36 years of referral marketing. There's nobody else that does it quite like BNI, and we learned the hard way, but all that information is there. I think that access to that information, so much of it is actually worth the price of admission alone. We actually are running, since the pandemic started, we've been running a series of BNI business boosters. These are kind of referral marketing TED Talks. We've had a lot of folks, we've probably got over 50 or 60 now. These are all available, for example, on BNI University. How to make this work for us. All that's there. We have podcasts. Ivan's done over 600 now. Every time I listen to one of his podcasts, I get a really good idea. They're so effective. And of course, I listen to them in the car. They're open to anybody. So I would absolutely go to bnipodcast.com and have a look and see what's there. Listen to them in the car. There's some fabulous information. We have a lot of local training as well here in Central Alabama and Southwest Georgia. I run new member orientations. We have advanced trainings, a lot of things available, all designed to help our BNI members hit their goal. And their goal is to drive revenues to their business. We're pretty engaged and we're pretty committed to helping our members be successful. So a word about BNI Online. So, I mean, you'll remember back to March when we were doing things like meeting in groups face to face. We didn't have masks on. It was like, I can hardly remember. We had to pivot pretty quickly from, at the time, 9,700 BNI chapters around the world. Within 2 weeks, we had everybody meeting online. And that system has continued to evolve. In fact, as we start the process of moving many of our chapters back to our traditional meeting format, BNI Online isn't going anywhere. And in fact, we've had some huge successes with BNI Online. Here's what my region looked like in 2020. The pandemic hit in the back at the end of March, and I don't know what kind of revenues we would have achieved for our members last year if this pandemic hadn't hit. But despite everything, we, as you can see from the graph, we passed more business than ever online. A tremendous tool. So yeah, okay, it was a difficult year, but BNI members locally passed $5.6 million between themselves. That was a new regional record. The year before was 3.8 million, and the average seat value went up as well. That is the revenues we pass divided by the number of members. Our average regional seat value is now over $31,000 a year. That's an average. Interesting, our average revenue return per member per week is now at $600. That is 31,000 divided by around about 50. These are figures that are incredibly below average for BNI. As I say, we are a new region and we're growing. These are going to continue to go up as we have more and more potential referral partners within our chapters and within our region. I'm not one to hide away from the numbers. I'm pretty transparent with what we're doing here at BNI. Here are our chapters and last year's numbers. You can see some did better than others, all kinds of different factors affecting things. But you can see, one thing I can tell you is that the members who engaged, who got involved with BNI Online were very successful. Little bit of a caveat, referral partners in Montgomery's numbers very big. They passed a $1 million referral last year, just before the pandemic hit. So that does skew the figures a little bit, but I really want to make the point that there was a $1 million referral passed in that chapter. That's something that we don't talk about a lot, but can happen. Well, now I hope my special guest is on the call. Let's have a look and see. Karen, are you here?
Hang on. Yes, I am. I'm right here.
Oh,
I snuck
fabulous.
in.
Well, let me introduce you all to Karen Ellis. Karen is my colleague over in the Panhandle. She's Executive Director of BNI Northwest Florida. There's her email address. And I'm going to pass over to you, Karen, to maybe share a little bit of your experiences with BNI in a similar position. You were in a similar position to we were a few years ago as a growing region. But please get the camera on and let us know your experiences with BNI.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Welcome, everyone. I became a BNI member in 2008. I had changed careers and went back into a selling role. And at the time, I live in Tallahassee. Let me preface that. So my region goes from Pensacola through Live Oaks. There's about 6 hours of territory. And I live in the middle in Tallahassee. And so the interesting part is that I had a friend of mine and she said, I want you to come to this meeting. It's called BNI. And I know you're starting back in sales. I said, well, I don't even know what that is, but I will try it out. And I went to the meeting and just loved BNI. I love the premise of it, how people just wanted to help each other grow their business. At the time, there were only 2 chapters in Tallahassee. And the chapter that I went to had like 13 people. Well, now there's 9 chapters in Tallahassee, and I helped grow that one chapter to over 50 members and was an officer, president, vice president, just took the roles because I wanted to help support the chapter and help it grow, and loved every minute of it, and then became a director. As a director, we help the executive director kind of with the chapters, help with trainings, visit chapters to help them grow and be successful. And some life-changing things happened to me throughout that period from 2008 come forward. And I actually got the opportunity to buy the region at the end of 2013. And I knew that it was the best thing that I could ever do for me because I just loved BNI and what it stood for. And I really loved helping people grow their business and wanted to help more people. So I purchased the region in 2013 and we grew the region to, we're now at 19 chapters and hopefully we'll be at, by the end of this year, I'm hoping to be at about 23 to 25. So we're working on getting some new chapters started. It can be challenging at times, but it's the best challenge that you want to take because I love to see a new member join the chapter. There was one gentleman that was, he was a younger gentleman that bought a sign company and he joined the BNI group, not really knowing what it was. A year later, he stood up in one of what we call a visitor's day And he said that if it wasn't for BNI, he never would have made it. His business would have folded because he got so much support and training and leadership skills and referrals to help grow his business. That's why I think Bill and I both do this. We love helping people, and it's amazing how you can help people grow and see things that happen, and just the changes in people. I'm sure the other thing is a lot of people are afraid to get up and talk in front of a lot of people. And I've never really had that challenge. However, a lot of people do. And I've seen so many people join a chapter where they were getting up to do their 60-second presentation, where they were shaking and they could barely get the words out. And by the end of that 6 months to a year, they were getting up, no problem, giving great presentations. And one example is a mortgage person who came into the group that exactly, I explained to you. She actually became part of the leadership in Tallahassee for the real estate board, and just recently gave a presentation to over 600 people. And she even said to them, the reason I was able to do that was because of BNI, because I learned my speaking skills and got so much better and so comfortable. And so there are so many variables involved in BNI that can help you in every way. And I just love it. And Bill and I are working together. And that's the best part about BNI, because we're close, our regions, and every executive in the world just wants to help each other grow our business and be successful. And that's how we work. And that's what we want for you guys. So thanks for having me here. And I'm excited to see everybody, and hope you guys have a great BNI experience.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Karen, for joining us on the call today. And I know you're a very successful executive director who has launched a number of chapters yourself and seen new members come into BNI. So I really thank you for taking the time to join us today. I did want to spend a little bit of time on the process. How do we get a new BNI chapter started? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward, and it won't surprise you to know that there is a pretty good structure in place to help you. So I wanted to walk you through this before we split up into our teams. We do have a pre-ignition phase before we even get started. We really get going with 3 or 4 local business owners making a decision that they want to start a BNI group. This can take a short time or a long time, depending on research that needs to be done or previous experiences. Of course, folks can come to this meeting. One of the roles of this meeting is to bring people. Maybe there's nobody in their area. They can come, have a look, maybe meet some other folks. And hopefully you'll meet some folks you didn't know today. So our ignition phase is where we start. Our goal is to get a group of entrepreneurs looking to get a group going to 8 people. We use this meeting to bring folks to have a look at BNI, see what it's all about. And as you'll see in the breakout rooms, we also use other BNI meetings as a tool as well. Our first goal is to get to 8 applicants. At that point, we move into our traction phase. We split off from this group and we start running our own chapter meetings. A BNI chapter launch director joins you to help run those meetings and help train you in the things you'll need to know to be successful. They're meeting every week. We start to make some key decisions for the chapter at that stage, but we're still growing and inviting people. In fact, you can see by the numbers, our goal here is for every member of that original group of 8 to sponsor somebody themselves into the group, just one local business person, which takes us to 16. From this point, we're going to move into the momentum phase. We're really picking up speed now. We've got 16 focused and committed people looking to build the group. We have another goal of 24, where we want to get the group to 24 over the momentum phase period. At that point, we know we're going to have a chapter. But our real goal is 32, because including a kickoff event where we will launch the chapter into the unsuspecting local community, we will pick up a number of members from our kickoff meeting as well. Again, we ask our members to just bring one additional person, and we will get well beyond our goal of 24. After launch, we continue to grow. We want to increase the size of the pie. We start to become a little constricted by the fact that we have fewer categories available, as 32 people have taken categories. But there are hundreds of potential members in the local community that can join our chapter. This is very much a numbers game. Although we are looking for quality people to join the chapter, we have an interview and an application process to weed out unsuitable candidates. We do want to grow the chapter because that means more referral partners for us, more people we can give referrals to, more people that can give us referrals. It's exponential as a chapter grows. Here's an interesting slide. This is a screenshot of the website of the largest BNI chapter in the United States. I took it this morning. I didn't know where they were at. They have an incredible 137 unique category members in that chapter. I didn't post the number because I couldn't fit it all on the page, but they passed just over $10 million last year between themselves. You can do the math. It's pretty clear that the larger a chapter becomes, the more revenues are potentially available for folks to access. So we are here. Most of us visiting today are either in a small group that are in traction phase, looking to promote themselves away from Discover BNI. And we do have some folks visiting, looking at, well, what is BNI? Would this even work for me? And we have got some breakout rooms that we're going to move folks into. Everybody back, welcome back, everybody. I hope that was a valuable 15 minutes. If I noticed there was like 10 people in the Auburn room, so you probably didn't even get through introductions. So goodness me. Hopefully there was some value. I'm trying to continue to tweak this meeting. Maybe we can put a bit more emphasis on the weekly, on the breakout rooms. But what I want to happen is to get to 8 people and we can really start getting some proper meetings going. What I want to do now, guys, is briefly talk about the cost and the real cost. So you're probably wondering, well, what does it cost to join BNI? This is what it costs. There is a one-off joining fee of, let's call it $200. And then we have annual dues of, let's call it $500. So we're looking at $698 to get started with BNI. It's not really about how much it costs, though. It's about the value, isn't it? If I had a Rolls Royce for sale for $700, you'd probably snap it up, take it off my hands. But if I was selling a Snickers bar for $700, you wouldn't be quite as keen. It's really about value. What do I get for this? The real cost of BNI is the time involvement. It's actually relatively inexpensive to get involved. But we ask our members to typically spend between 3 and 5 hours a week with BNI. That is a kind of time commitment that you need to be engaged in the process. But here's the good news. You should be doing this stuff anyway. If you're serious about networking, if you're serious about getting out there, developing relationships, you should be spending that kind of time anyway. Why not do it with a group of folks who are equally as committed as you are, not with a bunch of people who want to talk about vacations and you know, how the kids are doing at school. All very interesting, but not building my business. Thank you very much. So I do want to make it quite clear that it's elbow grease that is involved here to help get that engagement going. Typically, we do like to grow our chapters. There's some more statistics for you, but the question on this slide is really, okay, it costs money to join, it costs commitment to join, but how many referrals would it take for you to get your money back? For many people, the answer is one, just one referral. We are typically in a chapter of 40 members, passing between 3,000 and 4,000 referrals a year. I would think if you're engaged in the process, you're going to be one of the folks getting a good number of those. So I've got some questions for you. If you're looking at this seriously as one of your channels for marketing, alongside your other marketing efforts, you've got to ask yourself some questions. Number one, is this a good fit for my business? Now, not every business is a good fit for BNI. Walmart is not a good fit for BNI. They're not that interested in referrals. You refer your sister there for a pair of jeans, they don't want to know. They have a completely different strategy. But if you're a small business that loves referrals, this could be a great fit for you. Are you in growth mode? Again, not every business is in growth mode. You're 55, you've built your business to where you want to build it, you fill your time, you're on the golf course quite a bit. You're not growing, not a good fit for BNI. But if you're a member of that company and you're looking to grow your business, grow your portfolio, or you're paid by commission and growth is critical to you, this could be a great fit, because this is for businesses who want to grow. Businesses who grow, who engage with BNI, typically grow. Do you have a long-term business strategy? A good friend of mine started their business by being laid off from a particular company. Then they went straight back round and went on as a 1099. Bingo, they had a business with a client. Then they grew some more clients, but they never had a strategy. BNI can help you. Where do you want to take your business in 10, 15, 20 years' time? Because we are a long-term strategy. We're looking to keep members for the rest of their business life. That's what I want to achieve. We're a new region. We have some folks that have been with us since the beginning, and I'm very proud of that. Here's a key question. Can I commit to a weekly meeting? Can I commit to doing the things I'm going to need to do to be successful? If the answer to this is yeah, I think so, maybe. What are your next steps? Well, you want to create an action plan. Who do you want in your referral team? And I'm going to be showing you a slide a little later with an invited workshop I'm running that you're all invited to. Who do you want in your referral team? Who can you pass referrals to most easily? Success is about who you are, not what you do. This is critical. Just because you're an insurance business, or you're in mortgage, or you're a real estate agent, and this is a prime category for BNI because they typically do well. When I joined BNI, I was in the funeral business. Yes, I was. And that's a tricky business to get referrals for. I can promise you that. But I'm the kind of character who loves BNI. I love to network. I love to make connections. And I learned how to get referrals. I've enjoyed my time in BNI. Life is not about what you do. It's about who you are. And so is BNI. So make a commitment. If you're looking at a group of people that have already got something started, get your application in, lock out the competition, go and visit a chapter so you can see what's going on, see how this works, and start building your team. If you're looking at this for the first time, maybe you're from Valdosta or from Dothan, there's nothing there. Well, not in Dothan. We've got a couple of chapters in Valdosta, but it might be more suited for you to start your own. Start building your team. Who do you want in your chapter? Who do you already have relationships with? Start lists, and we'll help you with the techniques for connections. How do you apply? Pretty simple. You're going to go to that website, bnicarlswagger.com. Oh, it's an awful website. CALSWGA. It's Central Alabama, Southwest Georgia. It drives me nuts. I've actually put a QR code on there to help you. Hold your phone up to that QR code. It will take you straight into the application on your phone. You have to hold it up with the camera on. I should have said that. Fill that out, get it in, and as soon as we receive that application, your competition is locked out while we talk to you about your membership. We will interview you. You're going to give us 2 business references, and we're going to have a chat about whether this is a good fit. The last part of it is making a payment. We can talk more about how that works once your application's in. I want to thank you guys for attending today. I've tried to leave a little bit of time at the end of the meeting for any questions. I'm very happy to pull up some slides with some of those barcodes on if you're interested. And happy St. Patrick's.